Hello, Chiefs Kingdom. Welcome into a special episode of the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. My name is Jackson Durham, and in just a minute here, we're going to get into a Week 5 preview, talk about our Monday Night Football game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, do a little bit of scouting on our opponent. But first, I owe you guys one. We made a bet last week in the offices of Chat Sports, and we came out on top. It was a bet on the outcome of Week 4. And our host of Ravens Report, Mr. Joey Peterson, was the unfortunate loser, meaning he has to come on and do a boot with us. So I'll take it away here, Joey.
I mean, I have nothing to say. Y'all dominated. You deserve this. Good job getting the win.
Well-earned boot for Chiefs Kingdom here. It could. Wow. He was kind of downplaying his ability to do a boot quickly, saying this was going to be a long, cold open. Absolutely not. You lied.
We'll see you in the AFC Championship game.
Oh, okay. I like it. I hope we do. And hopefully it's a healthier version of the Baltimore Ravens in the AFC Championship game. All right. Thanks to Joey for coming on, being a good sport, making good on the bet. Always appreciate it. But now I need some help from you guys. We're 12 subscribers away from hitting our next sub goal on the channel here, 73,500. You could be that special one to get us over the top. Let's go ahead and get right into that Week 5 preview, though. So as I mentioned off the top, Chiefs Kingdom, we've got a loaded show for you today. Starting with the Week 5 injury report, we're going to go through not only our Chiefs, but also the Jaguars injury report, talk about what they've got going on as well. And then we're going to get into a little bit of a scouting report on Jacksonville. I think it was Confucius who said, to beat your enemy, you must know your enemy. Might also have been Batman, but either way, sage advice. Lastly, we're going to get into a roster comparison between the two teams, go down the list, see which position groups we think are better. And speaking of sage advice, sage-like wisdom, if you've got it, you should have no problem answering our Chiefs trivia question today. Who has the most 100-yard rushing games in the Patrick Mahomes era? This is a running back. I'm going to give you that little hint. And I'm going to give you the answer to today's trivia question at the end of the show. So stick around and enjoy, and you'll get that one a little bit later. But let's go ahead and jump right into the news, the injury report that we got today on Thursday. Kristian Fulton is the only Chiefs name of note on the injury report who was limited in practice. This is pretty good news. Not that Fulton was limited in practice, but that nobody else was. We had 100% participation in practice today. It was something Andy Reid led his presser off with. Pretty happy about. That's something you got to take pride in as an NFL team. They're 4 weeks in the season. That much of your team is healthy. That's great work on your medical staff, but also you're getting a little bit lucky. Injuries, they do come down to a degree of luck. So we've had the injury luck on our side to this point. Fingers crossed it can stay that way. Jacksonville, on the other hand, has not. It's a laundry list of guys on their injury report, most notably Travon Walker, one of their best defensive ends. He is dealing with a pretty serious wrist injury. Also got Dyami Brown, Ezra Cleveland, and Wyatt Milum, a rookie offensive lineman who they're still waiting on his debut. Could be a big piece of that offensive line. Couple other notable names. Bhayshul Tuten is missing as well. He is a key piece of their running game. Coming in as a rookie, he actually led all combine participants in fastest 40 this season. Dude has a ton of burst coming out of Virginia Tech. But let's hone back in on Travon Walker, who did not participate in today's practice. This is coming from Ian Rappaport this morning. Travon Walker had wrist surgery, Coach Coen announced. Though he's considered day-to-day, Coen said he could even play on Monday Night Football. And when I read that, I was like, holy cow. This guy had wrist surgery, I would assume either today, this morning, or last night, and might play on Monday. That's a little scary, but there is a chance that Travon Walker could miss this game. And not that we're rooting for him to miss time, but if he did have to miss a game, wouldn't mind it being ours. He's really good. Probably, I would say easily their second most disruptive defensive lineman, 2 sacks this season for Travon Walker, 13.8% pressure rate, 10 hurries, 7 stops, And despite being perhaps the least discussed first overall draft pick in NFL history, he's really starting to come into his own in year 3. But if he was to miss this game, if he isn't able to play, the backup is very bad. Emmanuel Ogbah, if you remember him back from his days with the Miami Dolphins, he's resurfacing in Jacksonville, still hanging around in Florida. 4 pressures on 70 rushing snaps this year. That is abysmal. Not really another word for it. Less than 5%, and he has 0 stops in run defense. I think he's played about 60 snaps in run defense. So that is very poor. No other word for it, and we would definitely like to see more of Ogbah than Travon Walker if it's an option. Once again, we're not rooting for Travon Walker's risk to be hurt, but if he had to miss a game, wouldn't mind it being ours. Let's talk about the Jags in 2025 in general, though. They've got a brand new head coach this season. He's doing very well. This obviously franchise, not a lot of people have respect for it. The Jacksonville Jaguars, historically, one of the NFL's newer teams, coming in 1995, if I remember correctly, have not been very successful. But this year, they're off to a pretty solid start. 3-1 record under their brand new head coach, 24 points per game from their offense. Not the best in the world, but they are holding teams down to 18 points allowed per game. And they've rolled through to a 3-1 record. And a huge part of why they're having success is the run game. Travis Etienne has been fantastic this season. 65 carries for 394 yards. He's averaging over 6 yards per carry. And he's also found his way into the end zone twice, 2 touchdowns for him at this point in the season. And he's not just good within the microcosm of Jacksonville. He's 3rd in the NFL in rushing yards through the first 4 weeks. And he's boosting the team overall as well. They're 4th in rushing as a unit and 6th in average yards per rush. They're also getting really nice production and efficiency from Bhayshul Tuten, who, remember, may miss this game. Dealing with an injury, was limited in practice on Thursday. Where they haven't gotten as consistent production is the passing game. It's been a bit of an issue. They've really had to lean on the success they've gotten from Travis Etienne because Trevor Lawrence has continued to be his up and down self. Obviously, you bring in a new head coach for this guy in Liam Coen. He's supposedly the prodigal son of football. That's what they've been hailing him as for years. And he just still isn't there yet. 58.3% completion percentage, 845 yards, less than 6 yards per attempt. And it's just five touchdowns to 4 interceptions. And another pretty interesting stat, advanced statistic here from PFF, absolutely 0 big-time throws this season from Trevor Lawrence. Not a single one. He has not been asked to put the ball down the field too much, and when he has not been successful doing so. But I will say, it's not all Trevor's fault. It might be one of the worst. It honestly might just be the worst receiver room in the NFL in Jacksonville right now. The names don't make it look like that. Obviously, they've got Brian Thomas Jr. in there, but they are not playing like a decent unit. They lead the NFL in drops through the first 4 weeks. I've coined the name drop ball for them. 13 drops over the first 4 weeks, and that is coincidentally 13.4% of all Trevor Lawrence's attempts. So it is hard to have success as a quarterback when almost over 10% of everything you're going to throw at your receivers is just going to hit the deck, even if it does hit their hands. And like I mentioned, Brian Thomas Jr., obviously the big notable name. They drafted that guy in the first round last season. He's off to a fantastic start as a rookie. Not this year, though. It's been pretty slow. 12 receptions on 31 targets, looking like Marvin Harrison Jr. with that catch rate, less than 40%. He only has 164 yards on those 31 targets, just 5.2 yards per target. And he's also dropped 3 of his passes. Of those 13 drops that the Jags have, 3 of them are on their supposedly best receiver in Brian Thomas Jr. And if I were you guys, I would pick against Brian Thomas Jr. with our friends over at Prize Picks. You and I, we make decisions every single day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks is the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. If you want to pick more on Josh Allen's passing yards, his rushing yards, and his touchdowns, you could do that all in the same lineup, only on Prize Picks. I've already got my lineup built for this weekend, guys. We're picking the less on Dylan Gabriel's passing yards. He's making his debut over in London against the Vikings, but I do think Quinshon Judkins gets in the end zone, so we took the more there. Jackson Dart, we went against him last week. This time we're rolling with him. We took the more on his passing yards, and we've also got the more on Saquon Barkley's rushing yards as well. So I think that lineup's pretty solid. I believe there's a 4 times multiplier on that one. So you can tail me, you can fade me, but whatever you do, do it at Prize Picks because Prize Picks puts their members first. So all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. They offer Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Shout out to Prize Picks once again. Let's switch over to the other side of the ball. We've talked a lot about Jacksonville's offense. Let's talk a little bit about Jacksonville's defense. Starting with 3 guys I think you guys should keep your eye on. Number 1, Joshua Hines Allen. He is fantastic. He used to just be Josh Allen, but he added that Hines in there as well. And the name change did not change anything about this guy being one of the more dominant edge rushers in the NFL. He is fantastic. If Travon Walker is not out there, he's going to be easily the best thing they have going pass rushing wise, and he probably is even if Travon Walker still is out there. Outside of him, keep your eye on Foyesade Oluokun as well. He is a very good inside linebacker, makes a ton of plays in run defense, has been grading out extremely well by PFF. I believe he has 20 stops this season in run defense, one of the NFL's best run defending linebackers, and he also does some great work in coverage. And lastly, Devin Lloyd. Been a bit of an up and down start to the career for the first round draft pick out of Utah, but he's really rounding into form this season in Jacksonville. Had a great season in run defense. Started out not as a full-time starter, but he's really ramped up into that role, and he was fantastic, especially in pass coverage. He's already had 3 interceptions this season. And the other thing this defense shines in, at least statistically, is pass defense. They've been one of the NFL's better passing defenses through the first 4 weeks, allowing just 233.5 passing yards per game and a 59.2% completion percentage. They're not getting home after the quarterback as much as you would like, just a 4.29% sack rate. And while those numbers do look good for the defense, I think there's a little bit of needed context. Let's see the quarterbacks that they faced through the first 4 weeks. It's a pretty bad list of guys. I don't think I need to really even run down the whole thing, but we will. Bryce Young, obviously, he's had a very rough start to his career. Joe Burrow leaves in the first quarter, and they get left with Jake Browning, who was pretty disastrous, although he did end up leading them to a victory in that game. I think he also threw 3 interceptions. CJ Stroud has been slumping to this point in 2025 and was very poor against Jacksonville. And Brock Purdy had maybe the worst game of his career, not because he's a bad quarterback, but because he's dealing with a toe injury right now. That turf toe, whoever cleared him on the Niners medical staff, bad move, buddy, because he is right back onto the bench for Mac Jones for Thursday Night Football. So I think we can look at that list of quarterbacks and all collectively agree this Jaguars defense has not been tested yet by anything close to a great quarterback, and not even to mention we have the best quarterback in the NFL, which leads us right into our roster comparison. We'll start on the offensive side of the ball. And yeah, I'm definitely going to give QB to us over Trevor Lawrence. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL, arguably the best quarterback in NFL history. We win this one by a mile. Running back room, though, you guys know my feelings on the Chiefs running back room. I'm going to give this one to the Jags. Travis Etienne's been fantastic this season. We all looked at those stats together. I think we can agree they've got us beat in that department. But receiver, right back to us. I think our receiver room is really rounded into form despite the injuries, and theirs is, again, one of the worst in the NFL, if not the worst in the NFL. Tight end room is a little closer than you might think. They've got some good pieces in Jacksonville, but I'm still going to go with our guys, Noah Gray, Travis Kelce, and Robert Tonyan. Offensive line, I'm going with our group as well. They've been better in pass blocking. Neither of these guys have been fantastic in run blocking. Run blocking for the Jags is an interesting thing. That's something their tight ends actually do a phenomenal job of. Their offensive line's a little rocky in that unit. I'm going to give that one to us as well. Switching over to the defensive line, this one's very close, but if they don't have Travon Walker, I'm definitely going to give it to our group. Travon Walker might make it a toss-up. Linebackers, this is another group that they've got us pretty safely beat. And I like our guys, Drew Tranquill and Leo Chenal, and Nick Bolton as well, but ultimately they've got some fantastic pieces. Corner room, this one goes to us, especially with the revelation that Noel Williams has been over the last few weeks. And safeties, I don't really think either of us should be too proud of the room we have at safety, but I'm going to give it to us as well. So when you go down the list of all the 10 position groups we just went through, 9 position groups we just went through, I'm only giving 2 of them to Jacksonville. 7 of them, I lean our direction. I think we've got a much better overall roster than Jacksonville. This should be a game we can safely win. Another record's better than ours, 3-1. But you got to think about who they face to this point in the season, especially from a quarterback perspective. That defense hasn't been tested yet, and they definitely haven't seen Patrick Mahomes, who is balling out, AFC Offensive Player of the Week last week. Before we get out of here, though, guys, I want to give you your answer to the Chiefs trivia question. Hopefully you got down in the comments and answered. If you haven't yet, pause the video real quick and do it. Run down there. You got a second, and we'll do a little drum roll. Here is our answer. It is Damian Williams, who, if you don't remember Damian Williams, if you're maybe a newer Chiefs fan, he has not been on the roster since the 2020 Super Bowl. So this stat, in a lot of ways, is kind of a testament to how poor our running back room is over the last couple years, but it's also just pretty interesting that Damian still holds that. Very key to us winning that Super Bowl in 2020. So get down there and give a shout out to Damian as well. Let me know you made it to this point in the video and throw horns down because he is a Sooner and I am too. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Let's go Chiefs.